How rich should you be at what age? This is a much better question than how much money do you need? In today's video, you'll learn not just why, but also which simple formula you can use to calculate your exact target net worth, no matter how old you are. But first, a story. In the movie Wall Street 2, Shia LaBeouf plays a rising star in the cutthroat world of stock traders. At one point, he asks his mortal enemy about his number, the amount of money you would need to just walk away from it and live. LaBeouf claims everybody in finance has such a number, and that it's usually an exact one. So, what is yours? He asks. His nemesis, played by Josh Brolin, just smiles and replies, "More. More." When it comes to money, most of us think we need more, but we rarely think about exactly how much, do we? If I had an extra $100,000, I could buy the house I want, we might say, but we tend to tie exact milestones only to specific goals. The next vacation, the next investment, the next big desire we want to fulfill. Well, how much money do you ever want to have? What's the sum you would need to live your best life for your whole life? It's a hard question. There are so many variables. What's more, most people have a poor grasp of money once sums exceed a certain size. How much more is $10 million compared to 1? What about $100 million compared to 10? Sure, on paper it's just another zero, but how does it affect a human life for a lifetime? Finally, there's the fickle human mind. More. Even if you had an exact number, you'd probably replace it with a bigger one as soon as you got close. I've caught myself doing this many times, plotting how I might reach 10 times this goal or that, often long before I'd achieved even so much as half of my initial target. A better approach to the question, how much, is to ask it relative to time. How much when? Money is a function of age, because usually we earn more as we get older. We also spend more, especially when starting families, and our healthcare expenses tend to be highest in our last 2 or 3 decades. Therefore, instead of asking, "What's my number?" you might want to ask, "How rich should I expect myself to be at what age?" This, too, is a question quickly fraught with bias.
By the way, did you know that 89% of the people who regularly watch this channel do not subscribe? So if you've ever enjoyed any one of our videos, please do us the honor and hit the subscribe button. It makes a bigger difference than you know, and the more people watch, the higher quality summaries we can create.
Well, my family never had any money, we might say. We look at how much money our friends make, Google average salaries in our industry, and quickly conclude that yes, as usual, we are behind. According to Thomas Stanley and William Danko, authors of The Millionaire Next Door, there's an easier, faster, more accurate way to estimate your expected net worth. They call it the wealth equation. It's a formula they've developed after studying people's net worths for decades, and it works like this. Take your pre-tax annual income and multiply it by your age. Then divide by 10. Consider all pre-tax income, like your job, Christmas bonus, and stock dividends. Do not include any inherited wealth in your calculation. For example, if a doctor aged 40 makes $100,000 before taxes, the total value of her assets should be 100,000 times 40 divided by 10, which equals $400,000. This is the average expected net worth, given her age and income. Now, there are a bunch of caveats when it comes to using this formula, which we'll get to in a second, but it's still a better starting point than most of the random guessing we usually do. First, what's good about the wealth equation is that it accounts for a larger population than just your immediate network. Second, it also considers the dynamics of age, expenses, and income over time. A 50-year-old may have benefited from compounding interest for 20 or 30 years. She might get thousands of dollars of stock dividends each year that increase her income. Those are advantages no 25-year-old can have, so it's normal to have less when you're younger, and the formula does take that into account to some extent. However, it is worth noting that the formula works with averages and thus needs some adjustment for edge cases. Our earning potential is not linear. Most of us make exponentially more money as we get older, until our income starts to plateau in our 50s. If you just started your first job at 20 years old and make $20,000, a $40,000 net worth might feel totally out of reach. Similarly, a lawyer making $200,000 at age 50 might already have $1 million in assets from years of compounding. Thankfully, Stanley and Danko included another simple rule of thumb you can use to adjust your result based on your unique situation. Originally, they devised it so you can see if you're in the top or bottom 25% of your age group, but it also works to set more reasonable or ambitious net worth goals. Whatever your result, simply double or halve it, and you'll know what it takes to be above or below average. If our doctor wanted to account for her student loans, for example, she might cut her $400,000 target net worth in half to make it more manageable. Similarly, if she already had $800,000 in assets, she'd be very well positioned. If you just started a new job or got promoted and now earn more money, don't get scared by your higher net worth target. Simply imagine how much you can save if you can sustain this income for 5 or 10 years. And if you're already retired, adjust your expectations down from your last salary. It's normal to start drawing on your assets in old age, and for those assets to then either stall out or even decline a bit as you pay more for healthcare and so on.
Now, before we get into lesson number 3, if you want to learn even more about money and build better financial habits, you should download our free list of the 14 best finance books of all time. After summarizing over 1,000 books, we've curated these 14 top titles in a beautifully designed, easily skimmable PDF. It will help you pick your next great read about money, wealth, and investing. Just enter your email using the link below this video, confirm in your inbox, and we'll instantly send you the list, free of charge.
Just as a reference, let's briefly look at how much money most Americans actually have. First, as per a survey from Bankrate from December 2023, 56% of Americans would have to borrow $1,000 in an emergency. And as of May 2024, around 27% have no savings at all. That's the scary part. But when it comes to median net worth, how much money at least half of the American population has in a given age group, there is some light at the end of the long tunnel to retirement. For people under age 35, the median net worth is $39,000, based on the Federal Reserve's latest data from October 2023. That means a 30-year-old making as little as $13,000 per year would already have more than half his age group when he hits his $39,000 net worth target. Similarly, the median net worth for ages 35 to 44 is around $136,000. This would be that age group's net worth goal if they earned anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000, depending on their actual age. But the median earnings for that group are actually $63,908 per year. So clearly, when we look at the data, we are doing better than we think. Remember this, even if your net worth target feels high, it's an aspiration you should strive towards, not something that should get you down. Now, if you haven't already, go and calculate your target net worth. Get your go slowly, expected average, and stretch goal numbers. Write them down and save them somewhere. Then just look at them. Get a feel for them. Compare them in your head. Can you get familiar? Do you believe you can make it from A to B to C? I know you can. And that journey has already begun. The wealth equation isn't perfect, but it gets us to ask better questions about how much money we should have at what age. It's a decent indicator to see where you should be relative to where you are. And if nothing else, it's a much better answer to what's your number than more.
Hey, this is Nick, the founder of 4-Minute Books, and if you feel a little bit better equipped to handle your money after watching this video, then you should watch this next one, where we share even more tips and tricks on how to grow your money, invest wisely, and hopefully retire young. Click on through and let's learn how to earn the big bucks.